This is part two. And what they're going to get is one small behavior dynamic that they didn't have when they walked in the room that they will have when they're done. It is that one behavior dynamic that has the chance to be significant. And many times I have a book that I wrote called the 1.2% factor. And the gist of that book is that one small change can have an absolute significant impact in terms of the result. And it's the same thing here. Remember that the premise is that I don't have to add anything new. What I need to do is give them access to what they already have, and this one small behavioral dynamic will do that. And when I have, let's say, a 3-hour program, the entire room implements it, which they can do on their own from a 90-minute program. In a 3-hour program, we actually roll up our sleeves and do it. But it's very, very exciting. All I need from your group is a group that is, alive. Maybe I should stop recording that. All I need is a group that is excited about what they're doing, and that here's the part that I can't give them and nobody else can either, and that wants to be better than they are. So, and I say that nobody can, it's not an outside-in deal. Nobody can make somebody want to improve. But that desire is there. It's just been squashed down by years of a bad economy. It's been squashed down by years of their experiences and the results from what they've attempted to do. So I ask the audience, do dogs love bones? What do you think, Kim? Do dogs love bones?
They do.
No, they don't. They love meat. They settle for bones. And that's the question to the audience. And I say this in a non-judgmental way, so I have the rapport to be able to talk to the audience like this. Where in your life are you settling? And that goes back to my first statement that you have far more capacity to create the circumstances and events in your life than you are aware of or that you're using. So once somebody knows this and they realize how easy it is to implement the one behavior dynamic, they can also go back to their organizations and they can implement what they learned organization-wide. And yes, all of that happened in 90 minutes.
I'm just finishing typing up my notes here. So one thing, I want to go back to something you said a little bit ago.
Sure.
And it was something along the lines of nobody can make someone else improve, or it was something like that.
Nobody can, there's not an outside source that can make somebody want to improve. An outside speaker or an outside event cannot make somebody want to improve. But however, they already have that desire to improve. It's one of nature's principles. A principle in nature states that we're either growing or decaying. There is no middle ground. The third law of thermodynamics is called entropy, that there is a time arrow. Entropy means that there's a natural tendency towards change and disorder. But anyway, that there is it's nature's principle for growth. And what happens is that people get these negative experiences that just stunts this. And then there's another concept that what we do is we obey authority subconsciously. So we listen to what the news is saying. We listen and buy into recession. We buy into bad marketplace. We buy into all of this negativity, and this is one of the ways that we are genetically predisposed. As human beings, we are genetically coded not to be optimists. We're genetically coded to be negative. We are genetically coded to be victims and see what can hurt us, as opposed to be optimist and see where the opportunity is. And the reason for that is because it saves our lives to look in the, to hear some noise and see some movement in the bushes, and it saves our lives to be negative and to think that that's a predator like a lion and to run away, than to spend more time and energy to figure out what it is. Because the caveman that did that died. He was, he was eaten, right? And so we have built into us pattern recognition. So we recognize and respond to danger long before we're even consciously aware of it. So that is just part of the conversation I'll have about human nature. About how if you're feeling down right now, that's exactly how you should. If you're avoiding uncomfortable activities, that's exactly what you should be doing. If you procrastinate, that's exactly what you should be doing, because this is how we are designed to function as a human being. We need to have an intervention if we want something else. There's a concept called packing, which means the tendency towards the norm. So if folks in that audience, if they want to be a leader in the field, if they want to be financially prosperous, that is outside of the norm, there needs to be an intervention for that to happen. Because if there isn't an intervention, then all the forces are geared towards mediocrity in that range. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing that intervention. The real key is that first circle, that attitude circle. The ability to influence what you pay attention to on demand is directly correlated to your degree of success. That is the key. And fortunately for me, unfortunately for America, there's only a handful of people that have access to that and are teaching. I mean, there's scores of people that have access to how the brain works, but only a handful that are actually teaching it.
Okay. I think I have enough information to take back to the